Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 9 a.m., and you are listening to and watching Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It's Wednesday, halfway through the week. Hope that you guys are doing good, feeling good, and excited for a brand new day. We have a new show and a new program and a new guest for you this morning. My guest this morning is Ciela Acala, correct?
Acala.
Acala?
Yes.
Of 360 Youth Services, here to tell us about the organization and also the Youth Advisory Board. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. So as we talked about before the camera just came on, excited to have you on the program. Really appreciate you coming and everything. And also I've seen you in the community at a lot of events, a lot of different resource fairs and things. So you guys are definitely, boots on the ground when it comes to helping people.
Yes, we are.
Before we get into all the questions, all the crazy stuff, how are you feeling this morning? How do you feel? All up in here. How you feel?
I feel good. I feel good to be representing 360 and being here out in the community. It is a busy time, but I think it's important to take some time to do these things as well.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Now, what is your specific title with 360?
So I'm the Rapid Rehousing Case Manager for Kane County. It was a new initiative that they started about 2 years ago, and I was the one that kind of piloted the program and allowed for it to take off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what was the genesis of that program? How did it start? What was the need in the community that saw the beginning of that?
Yeah, so we are pretty established in DuPage. We've been there for maybe about like 54 years now. And so they wanted to be able to help more individuals in Kane County.
Okay.
At first, they didn't realize how difficult it would be to serve a new county that they don't have connections in. It's
Right.
a new continuum of care. So I made sure I really tackled that and made connections in the community, made sure that we had a group of landlords that would be willing to take the assistance that we provide. And right now we're at capacity and my clients are good and thriving.
Congratulations. That's
Thank
good.
you.
Really
Thank
good
you.
stuff. What was it like making those brand new connections? 'Cause, I mean, these are folks that you never had any connection with before. What's that like trying to, break that ice?
Yeah, I think it was, they've heard of 360 before in Kane County, but I don't think they exactly knew what we did. So
Okay.
It was a lot of just like introductions and explaining things to a T.
Okay.
But yeah, just letting them know what we do, why we do it, and who we serve.
Good. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. So we'll be talking as well today about the Youth Advisory Board.
Yes.
Okay. And before we get into that, I want to let you guys know that all the information that we'll be talking about today, you can definitely find on the website, 360 Youth Services, and on their Facebook page as well. And we'll be sure to make the link to both of those in the description of this video. The time is 9:03. Let's talk about the Youth Advisory Board.
Yeah, so we started the Youth Advisory Board about 2 years ago. Well, we reestablished it actually. They had it going on before the COVID pandemic, and a colleague and I restarted it pretty recently.
Okay.
So they are people with lived experience and expertise of homelessness.
Okay.
And they go out into the community and do advocacy work and outreach, education, and just spreading information about youth homelessness and the services that we have at 360.
Okay. All right. And you said youth homelessness.
Yes.
Now, obviously, that gives us just hearing that, we're talking about young people who are suffering from being unhoused. What are some of the specific, factors and challenges when it comes to, dealing with that specific population different than everyone else who's unhoused?
I think one of the challenges is that they haven't experienced going out and looking for an apartment, or they don't have a credit score,
Right.
they don't have rental history. So it's really building them up from a lower point than most youth would be. And it's also I think youth also have like a lack of trust when it comes to adults, especially if they do have a bad experience either at home or
Right.
in other parts of the community. So I think building trust and, just building themselves up as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe we can talk rough number. How many young people are we talking about? Is there any kind of, even a rough estimate of the youth that are unhoused?
A rough estimate. There are certain groups that are more likely to be homeless.
Okay.
Right now, I think it's in the millions. Like, it's millions of youth
Right.
throughout the country.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really sad. So what are some of the resources now? So, and I know that this work that you do, is not done alone. What have been some of the resources and partner organizations that you've been able to work with in your work?
Yeah, so a big one is the FEC, the
Okay.
Financial Empowerment Center. They help out my clients with any questions they have about credit. Um, Another one is the Quad County Urban League
Okay.
is a good connection that we have working at Batavia. Um, and we also made a connection with the CEJA program, the CEJA solar program.
Oh, I can't remember what the C stands for, but it's Environmental Jobs Act or something like that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So what that basically is there was, I believe, a law passed which, and forgive me for butchering this, I think it boosted or enhanced job readiness in those energy and environmental fields.
Yes, yes.
With the purpose of the youth of today and getting those jobs of tomorrow, kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
It's
about
okay.
that. Yep. 9:07 is the time. If you are just joining us, we're here with Ciela of the of 360 Youth Services. We're talking about the Youth Advisory Board and also more information about this fantastic organization. So more about the Youth Advisory Board. How many young people are on the board?
We have about, I want to say 10, which is a lot.
Okay.
Considering the amount of clients that we have in the housing program and considering how busy everyone is as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, how does one go about joining the board? What are the criteria and what do you need to be a part? How are folks selected?
Yeah, so it's open to any and all youth that have a lived experience of homelessness.
Okay.
Right now, it is the majority of our board is our current clientele because it's just more convenient for them to attend. But it is open to any and all youth in Aurora, in Naperville, wherever.
Okay, all right. Is there is there a form or anything? Is there like something on the website that folks can go to if they're interested right now to look it up?
They can call me or text me, email me. Yeah.
All right, great stuff, great stuff. 9:08 is the time. Good morning to you all. If you're just joining us, we're learning about the Youth Advisory Board. I was shocked to learn that this is, well, not shocked to learn, but I was interested to learn that this is different from the one that the city of Aurora has, right? Because they have a youth advisory board as well. And when you hear that, sometimes people could get confused and stuff like that. So the lived experience, and you mentioned that the folks who are taking part in it now are the clients, basically, right?
Yes.
So the clients are making up the board right now.
Yes.
How long is the turnaround for something like this, and what are the signs that you're showing promise? You know what I mean? Like, when are things starting to get better for the people involved, the clients? What does that look like? What does it look like when things start to happen and change in a positive way?
I think with the board, like with being involved in it, they are really able to hone their skills, conversation skills, interpersonal skills. I think it also boosts their confidence as well. It gets them out into the community and doing things that help others that might be experiencing the same thing that they have.
Okay. What are some of the reasons why these young people find themselves unhoused? Without going into specifics of without sensitive details of an individual, but what kinds of things are we talking about? As you know, we have a lot of community partners or friends who watch our program.
Yeah.
So what are the things that bring them to the situations that they're in?
Yeah, so it could be domestic violence or, just general family disputes. A lot of our clients are part of the LGBTQ plus community, and if they don't feel safe or they're not accepted at home, unfortunately, they do find themselves either unstably housed or on the street.
Unstably housed.
Yes.
What's that look like?
So it's couch surfing. So whether you could stay at a friend's house for like 2 days and then go to your aunt's house for like another day, just going from place to place.
Right. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough, especially for for young people to be in. I've been, on the human level too. I think that what a lot of people don't understand is that sometimes what brings people to that situation, like, it's just a momentary rupture or a death in the family, a unforeseen hardship.
Yeah.
Something that you really weren't expecting. There's a lot of parents, or there's young people that have one parent and that parent passes away. So I think as a community, we should all kind of keep that in mind, because for a lot of people, the line between doing well and then not doing so well is in some cases, very thin.
It is.
We should kind of try to lead with empathy when we do that. I work for the Neighbor Project, so again, we're in different industries, but the strength of the household does matter a lot on the person, in more ways than people think. 9:11 is the time. Good morning to everybody joining us right now. You are watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. All right. So now we talked about you coming back on, and that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But what are some of the things coming up that 360 has going on? What should the people know about?
Yeah, so we have a couple fundraisers coming up within the summer and the fall. So we have our Christmas and July fundraiser, and that's to raise money to get holiday gifts for our housing clients. And then we also have the Dinner on the River Gala in the fall, and that's to raise money for all three of our departments.
Okay, what's that? Dinner on the River?
Yes, it's on Water Street in Naperville, at one of those restaurants that are on the river.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like where the Riverwalk is down there?
Yes.
Oh wow, that's gonna be when is that?
It's either in August or September.
That sounds fancy.
Yeah.
That sounds really
It
good.
is, yeah.
Tickets will be on sale for that shortly, I assume. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. What's next for 360? And what other, what's on the horizon in terms of new services potentially, or new service areas? Kane County is new, right?
Yes.
Do you guys have any plans to widen the footprint?
Yeah, we want to have a program where it's case management only.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily need to be a client with us. You would just be assigned a case manager, and they'll help you with anything you need. So you could be living with your grandma, and we'll meet once a week and help you out with whatever you need: job, school, relationships.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it seems like there's a social work aspect involved as well.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of people have a difficult time, kind of grasping that. And you mentioned something, and I want to lightly piggyback on it. You mentioned, folks maybe identifying in the LGBTQ plus community, and maybe that has an issue with their housing and things like that. In the time you've been with 360, have you seen attitudes soften or lighten when it comes to members of the LGBT community? I mean, what have you seen when it comes to housing providers and different organizations working with that community specifically?
Yeah, I think they are more accepting. Luckily, we are living in a time where it is more accepted to identify as part of the LGBTQ plus community. There are some organizations that might not want to work with us because of the population that we serve, and it's not just the LGBTQ plus community. It's there's a lot of stigma around homelessness and people of different backgrounds. So we just try to prepare our clients for that.
Okay.
And we always want to work with organizations that match our purpose and match our mission as an organization. So,
telling them brass tacks when it comes to, just giving them the facts plain out. Are those determinations something that you're able to see as you start your work? Like, are you able to see, like, either through their language or what the organization has a history for, whether they'd be willing and receptive to what you're doing, or is that something that you have to just make the contact, make the calls, do the follow-up, and then that's how it goes? How does that work?
Yeah. So in terms of housing, or in terms of
or just the organization working with you, in general, knowing the clientele that you have.
Yeah. So we we remind them that not all of our clients are LGBTQ plus, so it's not necessarily that they're serving an entire population.
Right.
If they do feel some sort of way about it, but I just try to remind them that they are helping young people that need help, and that, plain and simple.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen, here's the reason why I asked that question, because, in my role, I meet landlords from time to time. I've never worked with one and ran somebody's background or credit check. But when I meet them and I have those conversations with them, every now and then they do go to tenants and things like that. I've kind of noticed that over the years, there's more, even if the people aren't ideologically like on board, with the kind of people that we want to serve and our clientele and everything like that, their willingness to provide residency to people has increased a little bit. Again, this is anecdotal for anybody kind of watching it, but I don't have any numbers at the moment, but just from the conversations I had, the different places I've been, people are like, hey, people need somewhere to live too, and they're kind of willing to open their doors and open their hearts. Is there a list or a database or any kind of information about receptive landlords and people who are willing to work with folks?
Yeah, so we actually have a rapid rehousing panel through the county. And so case managers or directors from all the different organizations that are part of the COC will meet, and we'll just kind of talk about the clients that still need housing, and then we'll share information on landlords that we know of that do take the assistance and are receptive to clientele who are experiencing homelessness.
The rapid rehousing panel.
Yes.
How can you find more information on that?
Yeah, so
that sounds like that sounds like those people. That sounds like who you need to know.
Yeah, so it is exclusive to service providers, because we are talking about private client data, where everyone's names are on there during the meeting, so we want to keep that private between the continuum of care.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a Kane County body or organization, or?
It's all the Kane County service providers.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's it take to get on that list? Is there an eligibility for that?
Yeah, you just have to call either 360, or you can call the county themselves, and they'll be able to connect you with someone who can do, it's called a coordinated entry assessment, and it determines your eligibility for services. It determines the types of services that might be best for you, and you'll be put on a list either for rapid rehousing or permanent supportive housing, and then we just kind of go down as the list goes up.
I think we found it. I think we found it, y'all. I think we found it. And you know why? Because people, I get those questions all the time. Hey, Curtis, do you know a guy? Do you know somebody? Do you know a landlord who's cool with? And trying to do that on Facebook Messenger and in an email here or there is just not efficient. So, wow, how great it would be to be part of a known network that could potentially help. Let's talk about stigma. Let's talk about stigma. There's, from what I've seen and dealt with, and again, this is people talking to me, pulling me to the side. It seems like, and I want to get your opinion, it seems like there's two types of stigma. One is the stigma that the housing provider or the landlord may have, about their potential tenants. The other seems to be internal. And what do I mean by that? I feel like sometimes people themselves feel like they can't get ahead, they can't achieve, it's not for me. And I feel like that kind of keeps them from engaging and potentially getting that help a little bit sooner. What do you think about that?
Do you mean like they feel like they're just so far behind that there's no hope for them, or?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So I think with those individuals, of course we meet them where they are. They don't necessarily have to seek services right now. But it's important to educate them on the benefits of seeking help, and that really reassuring them that it's okay and that it's never too late, you're never too far behind, there's no such thing.
Right. And not only that too, we're talking about this for a reason, because we have events and things like that,
Yeah.
and sometimes people don't come to the event, but they send us a message and everything like that, and it is kind of hard, and working with partner organizations is great, but it is difficult to kind of make that atmosphere inviting for people to come
Yeah.
and feel welcome. We started off this conversation mentioning the FEC. I do want to highlight the FEC, located at 712 South River Street. You can get different services there of all kinds, to work with partner organizations like Wabanzi Community College, the SBDC, the Neighbor Project, of course, and it's a City of Aurora building, so there are City of Aurora different services and things that you can learn about down there. The time is 9:21. Good morning to you all. If you're just joining us, you are watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast and program, and we're here with Ciela of 360 Youth Services, talking about the Youth Advisory Board and more. All right. What's the future look like for the Youth Advisory Board?
Yeah, so like I said, they're going to start going to Project Safe Aurora.
Okay.
The organization wants them to have more youth involved. They've started going to the Aurora Homelessness Prevention Committee as well. And we're also hosting a Juneteenth event for our clients. So that's something that we want to have them more involved in, is planning events, because there's a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot of skills that they can hone from that as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Volunteers or any assistance, how can we help you? How can the community assist and help 360 Youth Services?
Yeah, we're always looking for volunteers. It's usually for maintenance needs for our transitional housing program, because they do rely on us to do a lot of the maintenance work. So anyone who's handy, we'll take them.
Right, that's awesome. Good
Yeah.
stuff. There's a continued reason why we're talking with our friend Ciela this morning and hearing about things like 360 Youth Services and learning about the Youth Advisory Board. As the life of our program has been going, we have always been trying to inform you guys about things that will help the individual. It is unfortunate to be young and incarcerated, or just getting out of incarceration, or heaven help whatever is going on. But we are living in a time where those resources are easier to get. Like,
Yes.
you can get help quicker.
Yeah.
Attitudes and a lot of different things have changed. For young people, going to jail immediately is something that may not happen to you. So things like the services that we're talking about, but also deferred entry programs and different things like that are very important, and things that you should know about. And we'll always be providing them here on Good Morning Aurora for you guys. 9:24 is the time. I felt like I was cutting you off. What were you going to say? Did I cut you off anything? No?
No.
Okay. Let's talk about the events one more time before we go.
Yeah.
We got the fundraiser coming up.
Yes, the Christmas in July fundraiser
Christmas in July.
for holiday gifts for our housing clients. And then we also have Dinner in the River this fall, and that's to raise money for the whole agency.
Okay. And people can follow 360 Youth Services on Facebook?
Facebook, I believe, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Okay. And how can people contact you? What is your information for people to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions about housing, or anyone wants to put in a referral, you can actually email housing@360youthservices.org. That's a new email that we have for referrals.
Okay.
Or you can call or text me at 331-280-1790.
Okay. All right. So before we go, as we start to land this airplane here, how have you changed doing this work?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've lived multiple lives in my career so far. And it's funny because, for a long time, when I was younger, I wanted to be on Broadway. So I never thought I would be doing something like this. But it also makes sense because I realized that I enjoy connecting with people. And as you might know, with acting, you're connecting with the character that you're playing. But in this case, I'm connecting with a real human being that has a real journey that I can be a part of, and they're also a part of my journey as well.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's very well said. Yeah, people don't understand that. It is important work. Sometimes it can't. 1 minute you're hot spotting, helping at Dunkin' Donuts, fill out the application for my client. Next, we're in a basement.
Yes.
Dealing with people on sometimes the worst day of their lives, giving them the key to their first apartment, best day of their lives. It is impactful work.
It is.
Impactful
Yes.
work, yep. Anyway, 9:26 is the time. Ladies and gentlemen, hope that you guys appreciate it and enjoyed this episode of Good Morning Aurora. As mentioned, 360 Youth Services is here for the community to support, and more information about the Youth Advisory Board will definitely be forthcoming. Right now, Good Morning Aurora is going to end, and we are going to see you guys tomorrow morning with more news and the very best of Aurora. Be sure to follow Youth 360 Services online everywhere and also on Facebook. Take care of yourself and each other.
Being a local business in Chicago, we've always worked with community banks, but over time, those smaller banks started getting acquired by larger national footprint banks. It became time to work with Wintrust to meet our needs without having to have that big bank feel.
Wintrust understood what they wanted to accomplish, and they've increased in size 5 times over.
As we continue to grow, we're going to keep needing to borrow, so I'm sure they're going to love that.
Serving their needs. It's really the foundation of what Wintrust Commercial Banking is all about.
YEP gives me a lot of hope for the future, not just here locally, but as those kids go out into the world and they share their perspectives and their passions, it's going to be infectious. It's going to spread. So they're just an amazing organization that sets their partners and this community up for success. The future of this community, and honestly the country and the world, is bright with the kids that are on that YEP program, because they're going to save the world. They're doing incredible work, and to just get to know them and learn about their passions was a very fulfilling experience for me. Without the Community Foundation, it would be much more difficult for Hesed House and so many other organizations here locally to enact our mission on a daily basis.